Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joy Lingerie, and I have Sandra, Rita, Dawn Lopez with us today. And she will be uh, talking about some of the things that she's been doing since I've last seen her. Before that, I would like to get us live on, share this to
The
uh,
spot.
Mature Musicians. Does seem to want to show me. Hang on here. Uh, here we go. I got to share this now. Share to our group, Matured Musicians. They changed my program, so this is the only way I can get you guys live in there. All right. So we're live on both YouTube and Mature Musicians, and this is my business page. So to give a shout out, Chadquist is going to be changing my banner. He's doing more and more in studio work with some of the newest technology. Does an extremely good job. I have a recording coming out called Warriors of the Cherokee, and he's used some of the new techniques, including he's going to be working a little bit more with a new program, and I'll let him talk about that. I don't want to give away his secret. But anyway, if you have any studio needs at all, you can contact him at Luscious Moss Studio or Chad Quist in Edgewood, Washington, which is just on the just next to Milton. Great studio. He does some really great recordings. So he originally started recording drummers and guitarists, and he's moved on since then. And I am waiting now to hear more about that. So I do have one listener on here. You can make comments. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. And with that, good afternoon, Sandra. This has been a real challenge. I've tried several times to get you on, and there was always something coming up to stop it. But this time, I have you here. And, I was going to ask you to refresh the background. Now, you said, am I correct that you've been doing, you've been a bassist for 36 years? Is that correct? Or 26? 36.
Yeah, since 1970.
Oh my gosh. And you're not a beginner by any means. And
We're always beginners. There's always something new to learn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's never, ever. Yeah. And the way I look at it, we just reach levels, Some people at a much higher level, some people are just struggling to begin to learn, right?
Yeah. And there's never too old to learn,
Well, I don't know.
Well, it's true. Never too old to learn. Never.
That's true. Yes, I agree. So can you tell us, for those people listening that may not have know your background or may not have read your bio, which was very short, can you tell us when you started? I know that you used to be an Olympic skier. Is that correct?
I was on the U.S. ski team for Alaska in 1985, 86, in Mount Alyeska, Alaska, and worked under Chip Woods, or not worked, but skied under Chip Woods. He was my coach.
Right.
And ended up winning a gold and a silver in what's called ski cross, women's world championships.
What exactly is that? I mean, I know downhill skiing and slalom skiing and jumping, but beyond that, I really don't know the rest of it.
Warren Miller, this was started with Warren Miller a long time ago. Ski cross is like a motocross course down a very steep course, a very steep part of the mountain where you basically you're going around really tight turns, and it's very steep, and you reach speeds of 70, 75 miles an hour. And you do it without poles. No poles.
Yeah. No poles either.
No poles.
Oh my gosh, girl. You must have been in great physical shape.
I was.
Yeah. Wow. I really believe that that kind of rigorous training and, it carries out throughout your life. I mean, you were very lithe and beautiful for your age, and I'm a little on the heavy side. I haven't been doing what I should.
But I also during that time, I was a ski guide for Cooper Mountain Ski Company. So I did a lot of ski guiding in Tucker Cats. We take people up to the side of the mountains. So my brother Chet did one better. He started a helicopter skiing company in Valdez, Alaska.
Oh
So
my gosh.
so I became a ski guide with my brother Chet, and
Oh,
we ended up doing some benefits for Jimmy Hugo Express um, and did some movies for Warren Miller and
oh, I know that name.
ski schools. We started ski school up there, and it's one thing led to another, and I ended up back down in California, back to Oregon. It's where I got back into playing bass.
Yeah. How did that transition work? Were you done skiing by that time, or were you doing
Yeah,
both?
well, except for Bachelor, I was a ski instructor at Bachelor, and ended up with 3 broken ribs from an out of control skier,
No.
and found out I was pregnant.
Oh, oh,
At the same
oh
time.
my gosh. How is the baby? Did you finally have it?
Well, yeah, Kyle's 34 now. He's fine.
Does he remember the rocky ride?
Yeah, he was born on Labor Day, so.
Oh my gosh. That's all. I had a son born on Labor Day as well.
Oh
Yeah,
wow!
amazing.
So
So you
that
went
that
there.
kind of ended my skiing career there. So I just did it for fun, and taught people on the side. Then I became a river guide in Oregon. Did that for a while, and then some good friends of mine got me into wanting to play the bass again. And I have to shout out to Howard Moreland with Howard Moreland and the No Regrets. Fabulous. His mom was on Wizard of Oz, and she was one of the characters. And
Wow.
Howard gave me the chance to get up, and he actually let me sing Bonnie Raitt. Let's give him something to talk about.
Oh, cool. Oh, that was a
And
kick.
yeah, he actually let me come up a few times, and then he goes, well, if you can play these songs, on the bass pretty good, I'll let you come up. And so I took my ex's bass and started learning how to play bass, and then got my act together and went down and met Carol Kay, and she really gave me a lesson.
Oh, not bad. Yeah.
So
So
you want to become a rock star.
do you write music, Sandra? I don't know if you
I
do. I've never heard anything.
I can write. I can read and write. But as far as originals, no, I haven't been able to write originals.
Uh,
I've got 1,000 cover songs I can do, but nothing comes to mind as far as originals. It's like
yeah.
everybody's already done it.
Well, I didn't think I could do it either until COVID hit, and I had
maybe,
nothing else to do.
maybe if I get
Say what?
electroshock, well, maybe if I get electroshock therapy one more time, I'm.
Oh no. Yeah, yeah. Since I last talked to you, we were discussing earlier that you've been through quite a lot physically, and um, head trauma during any kind of sport is often uh, it comes out later on in life in different ways, and you don't have to talk about it, but I do know that you struggle through it.
We didn't have helmets back in those days like they do now. So like at 70, 75, when I won the world's championship, my speed was 83 miles an hour. Thank God I didn't crash, but I've crashed at
Lord.
75 miles an hour before. And yeah, I've taken a few really hard falls and with no helmet. Then I ended up getting my motorcycle helmet and wearing that, because I couldn't afford anything, like they can now. Everybody's sponsored now. They just give you things. Back then,
Right.
you're
Nothing.
lucky if you got sponsored,
Oh
you
my
know.
gosh.
Um,
And
and
another thing, you said you went down uh, like a motocross event without Without
without
poles.
poles. Yeah,
Oh,
it's called ski cross.
I can't even imagine that sound. I really can't. I
It's
just
on
cannot.
YouTube.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Oh, I'd have to see that. You'll have to
You'll,
tell me where. What do I look under?
Warren
Pardon?
Miller. Warren Miller
Warren.
Extreme Skiing.
Okay. My dad used to show me those when I was trying to learn to ski, and he'd show me Warren's
Yeah,
training films. He loved to watch them.
yeah.
We do have a listener here.
My brother Chet's on there too.
Patrick O'Donnell's on with us, and
Oh, and I would like
he's
to also thank Steve Chrissa, Wizard from Grants Pass too. He was like one of my mentors with Howard Moreland. He actually played in the band I was in, the Southern Oregon Blues Band, before I was kind of took it over from Kurt Hilscher. And I love Kurt. Kurt was the original founding members of the Southern Oregon Blues Band. And so I asked him if it was okay if I continued the band because his wife was sick. So he just wanted to end it, but I wanted to keep it going. So I asked his permission if I could keep it going, and I did. So I kept it going. So Kurt, if you're out there, name's still there. It's LLC. So
all right.
I love you, Kurt. Thank you for allowing me to start my journey on that. And it's been a hell of a ride, let me tell you.
What I was trying to say before was that we have a listener here. We have somebody who commented it. It's Dublin Abbey's Patrick O'Donnell, and he says that he said, "Which bassist would you say was your principal influence as a bassist?"
Oh, it'd be Carol Kay, James Jamerson from Motown. Carol was one of my major influences. Then Jocko, and wow, there's a whole list of bass players I could go off of, but those would be my main ones. Actually, the main one I saw was Jimi Hendrix bassist.
Yeah.
I wanted to be him.
So what was the first band that you were in that actually paid you for a gig? Was it the band that you were just talking about, or was it later on down?
Oh my goodness. That would be oh God. I'd have to think about that for a minute. It was the first band I got so sick from a headache because I was just so nervous. I'll think of his name in a minute. But yeah, I went out and just puked my guts out, and but I got paid $50 for my very first gig. Learned 13 songs. I learned 13 songs in 2 weeks. You know, my very first gig, and that was after my boot camp with Carol Kay. And it was
you've been Turner. Yeah. Wow. So what kind of music was it that you were playing?
Let's see. It was mostly like Grateful Dead stuff, Boss Gags, Ricky Don't Lose That Number, stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that song. That was pretty cool. So where'd you go from there? What happened after that?
So after that, went in the studio a few times and continued learning how to read music. Continued learning the bass, all the notes on the fret, and in the meantime, raising 2 kids. And so I go in the bathroom late at night and practice with my cassette tape and rewind, rewind, start learning music and start, a whole repertoire while the kids are sleeping. Stay up pretty much all night. Thank you, coffee.
Yeah, that's a staple, right? Wow.
It just became an obsession. I've always loved music all my life. My grandfather was a professional guitarist, flamenco guitarist in Spain, he played with Segovia, Andre Segovia. So he was a flamenco guitarist, and he used to play when I was a baby. He used to play for me to put me to sleep. My brother
Oh,
Chet
my
to tell me
gosh.
that. So I wanted to honor him in some way um, for giving me that first introduction to music. So
Yes.
I learned how to play Malaguena. And before he passed away, my mom took me to Alaska. I grew up in California, Santa Cruz, little surfer girl. You know, worked for Jack O'Neill, made wetsuits, surfboards, stuff like that. And then my sophomore year, I ended up going to Alaska with my mom. She won some land in a lottery. So here we
Wow.
go. Yeah, here we
Oh,
go on an adventure. So I went to Alaska and we built a log cabin up there and went and lived in Valdez um, and that kind of put a squash on playing for a while.
yeah. Where in Alaska was it? All I can tell you is I know where Fort Greely is because I went there. Um, my husband was an officer in the army at the time,
Oh,
and
where? Fort
yeah,
Wainwright?
huh?
Fort
Pardon?
Wainwright?
I can't hear you. I don't
Where?
know.
Where? Fairbanks?
Oh no, Fort Greely is further south. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah. I can't think of. There's no real big town, but if you take the trans something highway through Canada, it
Oh,
takes you right past there. And I think
gotcha.
I went to Fairbanks too. I went I went to the Air Force Base there to stay. But so what part of the state were you guys living?
Valdez, Alaska.
What is the biggest town
Um,
close to that?
it's kind of like it's more inland from Anchorage, 400 miles.
Okay, all
Anchorage.
right.
It's
And
where the pipeline starts.
a lot of snow there.
Yeah, like 26 feet of snow.
When did you start skiing? I mean, was it early age or?
Yeah, about 1980. Was it 1983? My brother Chet took me up to the top of Thompson Pass there and gave me his K2s with cable bindings. Because
Yeah,
here, make a
I
piece of
remember
pie.
herringbones up the mountain. Yeah,
Because make a piece of pie and I'll see at the bottom. And left
yeah,
me up top there for me to, figure out how to make it, wedge.
right. Yeah,
And it
I
was like
remember
a
those days.
2 mile run on cable bindings, and but it took me 2 hours when it's normally like a minute and a half run. It took me half a day to get down. I was crying and screaming. I was
Oh,
pissed
oh
off.
no.
Why'd you leave me? And he goes, "Am I good again?" I went, "Yeah."
Oh yeah. Wasn't he the one that was trying to get you to jump out of a plane or a helicopter?
Oh
Did
no, he wouldn't do planes.
Oh,
No, I jumped out of the plane.
hey, oh Lord. Somebody got you to do that. Was that him or was somebody else?
No, it was somebody else that got me to do that. That was a girlfriend of mine.
Oh my gosh, you
Gave
were
me a beer.
adventurous.
She gave me a beer, made me sign a waiver.
Oh my gosh. I I had my chance, but just before my jump, there is a nurse on Madigan, and the special forces on Fort Lewis were teaching the jumping, right, conducting the school. And she jumped out of the airplane and was killed. She
Oh,
died. And yeah. And so after that put the kibosh on my ever jumping out of an airplane. They kind of shut down for a while. So
yeah. Mine
yeah,
was because the guy's 200 pounds on my back with the only chute. And
gosh, I can't even picture that. That's just impossible.
oh,
When
my
you
dog.
jumped out, when
Oh,
you
yeah.
jumped out, were you afraid?
Oh, yeah. I screamed all the way down. This is to get over my fear of heights.
Oh
Getting ready.
yeah, yeah, they do it.
Yeah. No, I was all excited. I had a picture taken, and so I went home and told my ex then, my daughter's father, look what I did. There's 12,000 feet, and he got so mad at me. He didn't talk to me for 3 weeks. So
Oh
that was
my gosh.
only part of our breakup right there. You know,
Mm.
you just had a child. You know, my God, it's only 3 weeks old. You go jumping out of a plane.
Oh my gosh, girl.
Sorry.
So you found yourself in Alaska. How did you like Alaska? I mean, that's quite a
Loved it.
change from California.
Oh yeah, I spent 32 years up there, and actually got better playing bass by the time I hit Oregon, and got reacquainted with some people up there, and they asked me if I wanted to join this band, and so we ended up playing some gigs, but out in the middle of nowhere. One place is called Chilkoot Charlie's in Anchorage.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it's chicken wire around the stage.
Oh my gosh. Did anybody throw anything?
Oh, beer bottles every night. It was, oh yeah,
Oh my,
great paying gig, but and
yeah.
I have to thank Mike Seno for that and his band, Freddie Fleet and the Fast Feet, for getting me into that, involved in that scene. But um, there's some wild times, and then yeah, ended up my mom got sick. She had breast cancer, so I
Oh,
came back down to California to be with her, and until she passed, and ended up staying in Oregon. Had my kids in Oregon, and uh, ended up coming up to Washington after you know some
when you
tragedy.
got it, yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry that happened to you. When you got to Washington, was it a music scene that was well known? I mean, how did
Oh,
you
I
find?
was totally in the dark because I was used to the blues scene down in Oregon. We were the Southern Oregon Blues Band, and when I got up here, it was like I couldn't use that, so I turned it into the SOB, Sandy's other band.
Oh, so how
Because
long did you have that band, Sandra's other band?
since I've been up here, 12 years
Yeah,
now,
how much? How long?
about 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you had that band that whole time. Wow,
yeah.
that's amazing.
It's it's taken me to a lot of places. Got to meet a lot of really cool people. It's been life changing. It's been hard on my family too.
Yeah.
It's the easiest life. Um, I don't highly recommend it for people to go. I want to be a rock star and have a family. Don't do it.
I hear you. Not gonna happen.
Yeah,
So, did you ever play for or open up for any stars while you were here in Seattle area?
yeah. For Wade Jennings, we opened up. Um, Steppenwolf with Goldie. I did the Pretenders tribute with him,
Wow.
and that was at the Stone Gate with Jeff Call.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, God. Let's see who else. Uh, Fernando Valenzuela from the Come and Get Your Love, Redbone. Yeah, and God, there's just now there's a list. There's a whole list of people I need to thank for allowing me to play open up for them. But the biggest one so far has been Wade Jennings.
All
That's
right.
the
So,
Moonshine Bandits. Um,
so you moved from blues into rock when you got into Seattle. Is that primarily what you were doing?
yeah, I was totally Stevie Ray Vaughan, and that's that kind of scene. Uh, Playing the blues, all kinds of rhythm blues, Tower Powers, that kind of scene. Um, so when I got up here, I met Howard Comfort, at the Royal Bear, and
Who is? Did you say Howard?
yeah, Howard Comfort and Marcelo with his band, and got introduced to hard rock. And I've believe me, I've got tapes of all these bands that play all these songs, but never really learned them. So I get up here and they want to play Highway to Hell and stuff like that. We're going, okay, what key is it in? So I got to thank Howard and Marcelo and those guys for giving me the good grace to jump in there. And I went home and learned a bunch of songs real quick.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We got another question from Patrick, Sandra. He says, to pick one, which brand or model bass would you say is your favorite go-to bass?
Oh, this is my girl. This is Patty. She's an LTD. She's an Ibanez.
I'm going to get out of here so you can show this, Sandra. Hang on. I'll be with you. I'm just going to give them more of a view.
Well, she's 5-string active. Ibanez. It's a lower end model, but she has EMG pickups, and she's just heavy duty. She's been thrown around. She's been in baggage carts. I mean, she's been all over, and she still performs. I've never had once to adjust the neck on her. Probably needs it now, and so she's my go-to. There's lots of other basses out there I would love to have, but she's right now I only need one bass, to tell you the truth. It's easier to carry around.
Yeah, I can remember playing on stage with you. I think it was Seattle something or another. What the heck is his name? Rodney Harris or Harrison?
Oh, Rodney.
Yeah.
Rodney Lambert.
Yeah, he used to be I think he wasn't he the bodyguard. He told me something about being a bodyguard for Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, Rodney did the Charlie Daniels tribute together. That was.
Yeah. Well, I got on stage with you at somebody's birthday. Was it your birthday? Remember the birthday bash by the river?
Oh, that's right. It was. That was.
Yeah.
Bash on the river.
And I was lost. But she was just playing away. She knew whatever, she knew the music. And I'm like, I'm lost. I'm just totally lost.
That's okay.
But I know how good you are.
That's part of learning is when you get lost, you just kind of step back for a second and listen to who's ever in the lead position. And usually my go-to is the drummer.
Do you know Billy? Do you know Billy Shue by any chance?
Yes, love Billy.
Well, he's the one who he's showing me how to do that. He not so much anymore, but he has a jam in Stockton, and he'd call us up after we performed, after we did our 3 songs. Mm-hmm. Later on, he'd call us up because there weren't that many people in the beginning, and he'd give me a blues song, and I'm like, I'm lost. I said, well, what's the off chord? Is there 2 and a 6 in it? Or, what's the off chord? And he was able to get me up there, play stuff I had never even heard.
See, that's so blues is a really good way for people to start if you want to start learning. It's like a 1-4-5, usually 3-4 chords.
Right, exactly.
But it's the feeling, and the feeling comes from inside, and how you play the song. It could be a song you've heard a million times, but it's what you put into it that makes it.
Absolutely comes alive.
I don't know how else to put it. It's all in the fingers
and in the heart.
In the heart.
We have a Howard. Oh gosh, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Can you see that name on your computer? He said, "Loving it. You're both great." And Patty's cute too. I guess he likes your bass. It's M. Looks like
Oh,
Marion
Howard.
or Moreland. Is it Moreland? Moreland. How do you pronounce his name, Sandy?
Howard Moreland.
Moreland. Okay.
Yes, and
I
he's
thought.
he's one of the best musicians I could ever come across and cross paths with. Um, Howard is, you can look him up online. He's got a discography, and it's about a mile long. his, his his mom was very famous down in as a movie star. But Howard grew up in that scene, and I learned a lot from him about the music industry and what not to do. Also, I learned a lot from Carol, um, what not to do and what to do. Where do I want to go? You know, do you want to be professional? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? If you do this, then be prepared to accept the consequences.
Were there any consequences?
Like if somebody wants to offer you a lot of money, you know, to go do these 4 or 5 records, you know, be very, very cautious on signing on that dotted line. You know, what's going to come back? What if you don't? What if you don't come up with 4 or 5 albums? What happens? You know,
Oh.
I don't like that kind of pressure. Like Dave Grohl, you know, I want my own studio. I'm going to do my own production. I'm going to do that. But for right now, I love Robert Lang's studio. Robert and Tina are just fabulous people. I love their studio.
What is the name of the studio?
Robert
Where
Lang.
is it?
It's up
Robert
in
Lang?
Shoreline. Yeah, it's up in Shoreline. Everybody's
Oh,
been there. Soundgarden, Foo Fighters, Pearl Jam, everybody you can think of has been in there. There's gold records all over. It's a beautiful house. Oh, it's like walking into the music hall. You know, it's incredible how hearts in there. Everybody, you know,
wow.
it's incredible to be among those musicians and in that studio where they sat and actually came up with these songs. You know, the band I was in at the time was the Saints of Mayhem, and we came up with like about 4 originals. We cut a CD up there, and it was really cool. And it actually turned out really good, except for one song we couldn't record, and it was for Patty. That's why I named my bass Patty. She was my singer, and she passed away from kidney failure. So, but she got me this bass, and through Dave Irwin, so through the both of them. And I never played a 5-string before. I was always a 4-string girl, and like 5-string. Well, I don't need 5-string. Try it.
What's the difference between a 4 and a 5?
The little B string,
Ah,
little B string here. It,
okay.
I say it just adds booty.
I get it.
It's a lower register, so it adds more flavor to
Yeah,
what you're playing, and you don't have to detune to an E
yeah,
flat.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so you just go down a half a step.
Yeah,
And it's the same pattern. Everything's the same pattern, but you just go down a half step. So
cool.
I love it because it's just a whole nother range, you know, of music that you can do.
Have you ever played any other instruments, Sandra?
I play guitar. I play a little guitar. I play a little pedal steel, harmonica.
Ah,
My son got me an accordion.
I used to play one.
I got one if you want to show me how to play it.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long. I don't know if I would know. All I know is that those little buttons on there, that the keyboard uh, is the keyboard on the piano, but the buttons are your chords. That's all I remember. We got another follower here. She's pretty much regular. Her name is Rosie.
Hi, Rosie.
Rose Smith. It's Rose Smith, but She likes to tune in. I'm glad you're here. And Sandra, when you ran into COVID, when they shut everything down, what were you? Where were you? And how did it affect you, if at all?
Actually, we played quite a few gigs with the SOBs during COVID,
Oh,
believe it or not.
hmm,
We played a lot at HD down in Belfair. Um, Played at the Bethel Saloon. We played, kept a pretty good schedule throughout the year.
right.
I was pretty surprised, that we could keep working like that. But I've got a list of musicians that I go to, that I could go to and rely on them to know the material. And I'm notorious for handing you like a set list and learn it in 2 days.
Oh my goodness. I give 2 weeks at least.
And I want to give a shout out to my band manager, Juan Rodriguez. He's been a dear friend for a long time, long time, and he's been an excellent um, manager for our band, and just all around a really good guy. And I just want to give a shout out. Thank you, Juan, for everything you've done and believing in us. Thank you.
Yes. Did you have a booker during this time, or did you get these gigs on your own?
I got these gigs on my own.
Wow.
Juan's job is to take these out and go dance with the ladies.
I saw that. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's Juan's job.
No. Okay. So, what is happening now? How many bands are you in, and how can people find you? I mean, I know you're everywhere, but
Um, I've got
where are
the
you?
SOBs right now on hiatus. I've been waiting to play with Bob Randolph for the past 10 years, and he asked me to play in his band. So of course I said yes, and so I put the SOBs on hiatus right now, and I'm with Bob Randolph band, featuring Bob Randolph and Roger Baldwin on drums, Alan Korish on guitar, badass guitarist. And we're just getting together, a couple of weeks now, and had 2 gigs, and we're still learning new songs all the time. It's great. And it's great for me to get out there and get back in the spotlight again, because I've had my health issues. I've been diagnosed as epileptic, and I want everybody to know that it doesn't matter what kind of what you're going through, whether it's your health or anything else. If you got a chance to keep the music alive in you, inside of you, keep it alive. Don't ever stop. Don't ever quit. And seriously, when I was going through the seizures in the hospital, I even took my guitar up there, and because I was afraid I was going to forget everything. By the time I got out of there, electroshock therapy and shit that they're inducing the seizures with. But it really helped me regain my memory back, because when I got out of there, I was scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Because I was having these grand mal seizures, intense grand mal seizures for a whole week, and so it does a number on your head, on your brain and your memory, and it's like having a stroke. But you're not having a stroke.
Right.
Your brain's just disconnecting, or it's over too much information or too much electrical activities going on, so your brain just kind of shuts down, and your muscles just don't react. So when you come out of there, it's like you just got in the boxing ring with Muhammad Ali. It's
Yeah.
But
Um,
it brought me back. Okay, this thing brought Patty right here. She brought me back to where I am now. I'm at. I would be honest with you, about 90%. I'm able to. I know all the notes back on her again, where I didn't know any notes when I came out. I couldn't even tell you how to play Freebird when I came out of the hospital.
yeah,
It was bad. It was bad. But it was. I wasn't going to allow it to become a disability.
right.
I knew through music that it was going to help me get back to where I was. I knew it. I just knew it, and it did. You just got to put the time and effort into it. And my dexterity came back. Just plus, believe it or not, taking 3 kinds of mushrooms also helped too. Helped with the memory. Turkey and a couple of other types of mushrooms in there that really, really, really helped bring the focus and memory down.
Now, I
Yeah.
had my son when he was 19 years old, he committed suicide, and uh, he had seizures, and when he was little he'd have a seizure and fall downstairs,
Yeah.
and I was always worried around him because of that. And it turned out that he had a brain injury. He was born on Labor Day, and the nurses held the baby back, and it caused part of his brain to be injured. And
Wow.
so I've had to deal with that with him for quite a while.
I'm so
And then,
sorry.
yeah, and at the time, things weren't like they are today, and they didn't know as much about these things. And so uh, I used to watch these things about Howard Hughes, and everybody, how I don't know if you ever saw how bad he got from the head injuries from testing airplanes and so forth. And to me, it looked like he had been brain damaged in those accidents that he had when he was testing airplanes,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Oh,
I was interested in that because of my son and because of those episodes. And I'm just so glad that you managed to find today a way to help yourself with your doctors and get that under control. It's a very frightening thing to watch someone having a seizure and the helplessness that you feel because you're a bystander, but there's not a whole lot you can do.
I have to thank Wendy Phillips. She was actually there when I had my first grand mal seizure, and she
Uh,
called the paramedics. And that was actually the very first time I mean, I had one prior to that in a rehearsal that we had at Sam's, and it, I didn't catch on to it. I had this like far away look in my eyes, but I was still playing, still keeping the beat, kind of. But my drummer, Roger, was noticing that I wasn't there. I was somewhere
yeah,
else, but I was still playing. It's
right.
still,
It, would you agree that music is healing, Sandy?
yes, very much healing. It brought me back. You know, I'd be pretty much a vegetable right now without it. This,
Yeah, Sandy was saying earlier before we went on live that she wanted to get that out there that every musician, I don't care who you are, is going through something at some time. And we all have our challenges in life. This was Sandra's. And it's amazing how much the support of the community of musicians gives us, how important that is, that we have good doctors and
yeah,
that we still have music and that you were able to get back what you lost, which is amazing. I had a lead who had a stroke and he lost everything and it took him, years to get back, but he's still playing and he's 86. So,
yeah, I totally relate to that. They said I had a mild stroke during my first grand mal seizure, and I remember going out of my trailer on the gurney. The last thing I remember was taking big deep breaths and then my heart stopped. And then next thing I remember was kind of going out of my body, almost looking down on me and going, "Oh, I don't like this." And I took a big gulp of air and I came back. And the next thing I knew, I woke up, I don't know, 8 hours later. And my friend at the time, Wendy, was standing there. I was like, "Where the hell am I? What are you doing there with my clothes? What the fuck
Yeah.
happened?"
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're back,
But
and I'm glad that you still have the ability to play, Sandy.
thank
I've
you.
known you for a while, and
Well,
you're
I'm
absolutely
able to do now to be able to help other people. That's what I think I was meant to do, was to be here to help other people. Um, and I'm really grateful for all the people that who's helped me through um, the years I've been playing, especially all the musicians that I've been very, very lucky, like Jerry Miller. Um, I got to play with him for 10 years. He's like one of my idols. Um, and I got to play with him. And Randy Hansen, got to play with him. All these guys, um, Goldie from Steppenwolf, it's just amazing. The type of people that you get connected with through music.
absolutely
You
yes,
know, you got to play with some really cool people too, and
yeah,
it just gets better and better.
yeah,
And the more you put into it, the more you get out of it.
absolutely.
So
I
practice.
I do I do have to interrupt here because I got a Christopher Martin
Oh, he's
on the line
Christopher.
here. He said, "That's a nice bass, but she's a beautiful person with a huge heart." And I don't know if she's talking about the bass or you, but I'm assuming it was you. Can you tell us a little bit about your event with Christopher?
We did good. We were shooting for 6,000 to help Christopher. Um, because what happened to him could happen to anybody.
Yeah,
He didn't ask for his apartment to get burned down by some crazy person. You know, and he lost a lot. He lost his life too. Like we've
didn't
all
he
gone through.
lose? Didn't he lose some instruments
You
too?
know, lost instruments, some equipment, but mainly he lost his home, his furnishings, his clothes. He lost his hope. He lost,
Yeah,
he's disabled at the moment, and he said he can't get work. Um, he's just having a really hard time, and he's one of these guys. He's my Wookiee. He's Chris has played with me in my SOBs. He's one of my SOBs, and it's heartbreaking to see um, somebody go through like this, and he's too proud to ask for help. And so that we take it upon ourselves to go, well, fuck that. We'll just do a benefit for you. So yeah, the epiphany came in the bathroom one day, and I called up Howard and went, "Hey, let's do a benefit for Chris."
oh, good,
It
good
was
for you.
the bathroom epiphany that started this whole thing.
'Cause, Christopher said, "Much love always, Sandra."
Love you too, Christopher. We'll get
And
get you right, get you back on your feet again so you can play. We need you. He's one hell of a
amen.
player. He's one hell of a guitar player. You
Yeah,
know,
I was going to interview him, that when this struck, and we had to postpone the interview, but we did. I believe we did pick it up a little later on. But yeah, that was pretty earth shaking. And
yeah.
Electric Dave also says, "Great player."
Dave, you
He's
are
on.
too, man. Thank you.
So, what kind of advice would you give people who are, number one, struggling with, alcoholism or drugs or family problems like divorce, you name it. There's always something going on in your life, one way or the other. Health, any other kind of health issues, etc. What would you advise them if they came to you and said, Sandra, I don't know if I can get through this because I'm at the bottom. I'm can't handle this anymore. What would you tell them? What would you say to them? What kind of
do what I did and get on your knees and have a little talk with God about your situation, and stay away from drugs and alcohol because it doesn't do you any good. Doesn't It only numbs you for a while, and then you still have the same problem. So go through it without it. You know, stay away from it. Stay away from that crap. You don't need it. These are just lessons in life that we go through when we have these problems. They're lessons.
Yeah.
Mine is I have men problems. I guess I'm single for the rest of my life, so it's hard to be a musician and have a relationship. And I'm just one of these women that I'm better off alone.
Well, you never know. I said never, and next thing I know, I was married. Never again. I'm done. I'm through. Whatever. And one day, I was in a place where they were doing karaoke of all things, just outside Fort Lewis, and this guy walked in and he said, "You ought to be singing in a band. You ought to be singing for competitions." And he started taking me to fairs and all this stuff. And I said, this stuff's all rigged. They kind of know who they want before it's ever done. And next thing I know, I was saying I do. I'm not sure how it happened, but I said never. And the next thing I knew, the last 26 years we've been together.
That's awesome. I don't know. I think God has different plans for me. That's Jeff Wallace.
Never say never.
There's another one of my SOBs, Jeff Wallace. I love you. he's
never say never.
Never. Well, so far it's 0-0. I just keep saying, I'm here. I guess I'm here to serve other people, and yes, I give lessons.
Oh, good. Yes, good to know. Bass on the bass.
Yeah, and
okay.
I'm not much on vocals. I can sing, but I'm not much of a vocal instructor. That's for Pamela Moore, by the way. I love Pamela.
Yeah. So how did they get hold of you, Sandy? How would, if I wanted lessons on the bass, how would I find you?
Here on Facebook, on Messenger.
So do we have to put the whole name in there? Sandra, Rita, Don, Lopez?
Yeah, because there's so many Lopez's out there. It's hard to. There's a lot of Sandra Lopez's, believe it or not.
Yeah, gotcha.
So that's why I put my middle name in there.
Do you have a website?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I will have another one I'm going to put up pretty soon, but I will keep you in touch when I do get it up. I'm looking for somebody to do my website for me because I'm not very proficient in that.
Yeah, I got a lady named Courtney Prather. She's a little pricey, but she's so good. She's my website. So I told her what I wanted, and she took over. I don't know if you know Jessica Lynn Whitty, but Jessica started the website for me, and then Courtney took over after that. And it's something that it's really serviceable. I like it so. And it's easy for people to get a hold of me. So if you know anybody, Sandra, that would like to be on my show and they're and have a computer or a phone.
Also, I gave you Harvey's name, Harvey Wicklund, who was the original bass player for the Ventures. We're good friends.
Harvey. Oh, I got to look back over. I'm going to look through our conversations.
He is the last of the original Ventures, and his wife and I and him were very good friends, and we still stay in touch. And Harvey does come out once in a while, and he'd be a great one to interview because of the original Ventures. I had all their albums, man. I tried to copy everything of theirs.
Yeah, I absolutely.
Harvey's the bass player, so.
Yeah, I love the Ventures. I absolutely love their music.
Walk Don't Run. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Oh, that and what's the other one? There's another one that we used to play all the time at the end. Yeah, and we always ended with a venture song. My guitarist, the one who had the stroke and rehabilitated 100%, um, he was a good friend of Noki Edwards, and he gave him one of his guitars, and so I have
Oh,
some connection there. Yeah, good
yeah.
people.
Look at Harvey Wickland.
Okay. I will if sometimes I get a hold of these people. I don't remember because there are hundreds, but sometimes I get a hold of them. They don't respond, but I will definitely ask you for that name and have you send it to me again,
Yes,
and I will
sir.
get a
Well,
hold of
I'm
him
sure he would
tomorrow.
love to be interviewed because he has, I'm sure he has some great stories. I
Yeah,
mean, who wouldn't have been that band?
right, absolutely.
But
So actually, we're getting out towards the end here. And, I asked a lot of questions, but I didn't ask them of you. But one of the things I do want to know is if you ever reach that place where you hoped you'd be musically in your
never
journey.
wanted, never wanted to be famous. Never. Um, I've always wanted to be able to make a good living, kind of like Carol. Um, I take her advice very, very seriously about this music business, music industry. She was very blunt with me when I went down there. She said it's very hard for women to get into this business, number one.
Yeah.
And she was right
Yeah.
because I had to fight tooth and nail to be able to walk into a club and say, "This is my band. Would you hire us?" And he would. I would most of the time get screwed out of our pay and stuff. And then I learned about contracts and stuff like that. And I had
Still like that, Sandra. It's still like that.
yeah, it
Not
is.
as much, but it still is.
But now women have a little bit more. If you show them that you're not going to put up with this, and you have four guys behind you that would like to get paid, no,
Yes. I got it. Absolutely.
you know,
So do you have any
that's when they
closing
back you
words?
up. But no, it's been a long road, and it's been sometimes it's been so worth it. Oh my God, Joy! I mean, the most I played in front of was opening up for Cheap Trick. It was down in Oregon at the Josephine County Fair. Or I mean, is it Josephine? What was it? Over by Medford. It's the county fairgrounds over there. But and then the Doobie Brothers opening up for them, and just wow, and seeing the people go nuts. But at the time, the Southern Oregon Blues Band, or the band I had to put together, we had 13 people in there, and that was like three backup singers, horn section, two drummers. Michael St. John was like one of my drummers. Um, oh God, there was two guitarists, a percussionist, me on bass, and pedal steel guitar player. We had it was a huge band, and to have that kind of reception from people when you're opening up for these guys are your heroes. I mean, Doobie Brothers used to come to my high school in Aptos in Santa Cruz when I was a freshman. Oh yeah, and they're from the Bay Area, from San Jose, Santa Cruz, and Pat Simmons, those guys. And here we are opening up for them. It's like meeting Jerry Miller for the first time in Oregon, and then becoming his bass player, up in Seattle. And he owed me $5 at the time. And when I played for him in Oregon, he didn't pay me. He sent the pig over. He sent this pig, the bar's pig, to my house for payment. So when I
Gosh.
moved to Seattle, I saw Jerry at the Stone Gate. And I walked in. It's been like 10 years since I seen him. Walked in and I said, "Bucks." And he remembered me.
So if I got this right, you do it all over again.
I would do a lot of different things differently. I would do, I would
Yeah.
probably To save my relationship with my daughter, I would have done it differently. But I used to drag him to all my concerts, and they would sleep behind the mains. But my son loves it. He plays guitar, Kyle, and he's a he's a chef, and he works in dispensaries, and he's doing great. He's in Portland, and I'm so proud of him. Has his own website, and he loves music too. We just went to the Rolling Stones together, and we had a blast.
Can you believe our hour is over?
No, really?
Yeah, it's over.
Oh,
We're at 1 minute and 19 seconds. But
well,
it's been
I've still got 30 more years to go.
well, you have to come back, Sandra. You'll have to come back.
There's a lot more people, I would love to thank. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
we have a last comments. I want to go through Jeff Wallace is making a statement here. He said, Sandra, I can't.
Sandra May calls me.
Yeah. Oh, I said it? Okay.
It's his nickname for
And
me.
Dublin now be like the interview. And let's see if I've got everybody. I think I do. Yeah, Sandra May.
Thank
That's what
you,
he said.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much for attending. We really appreciate it.
Oh,
And
Julie, it's been a
have
pleasure.
to come back.
We finally got together.
Yes, yes. It took a while. I'm so glad you're doing fine, Sandra. And you do take care. And we will talk again. And I'll probably see you at the Corona Palooza.
I don't know if I'll be able to make this year. I would hope so, but I would love to see you there. You kicked ass.
You were my biggest fan.
You kicked ass last year, girlfriend. You kicked ass.
Thank you.
But I would love to see more women out there in the music world.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to try.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to get up there, even if it's karaoke. And I kid a lot around, but I hate the karaoke. I hate karaoke. I hate the word karaoke. But actually, it's a great training ground. It's great.
Yes, that is absolutely.
Do not be afraid to go out there, grab a bass. Bass is great for women, It really does. It does something to the lower half. I don't know. It makes you moist.
All right, Sandra. Take care, and thank you so much for being on. All right.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you, everyone.
Right. Bye-bye, guys. Well, that's all there is for my show today. But next week, there is no show. I want to take some time out and enjoy Memorial Day. Our pool opens up. But Joshua Rostel is a young man just coming back into music. He's been out of the Duval Jam, and he will be my guest on the, believe, the 8th of June. So do tune in. I want to again thank Sandra, Rita, Don Lopez for being our guest today. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good rest of the week. And until I see you after Memorial Day, stay safe.